When people hear about creatine, most immediately think of gyms, muscles, and athletes. But what if I told you it might be one of the best supplements for your brain, memory, and even sleep? That's exactly what I experienced. After years of taking standard creatine doses, I decided to try a more aggressive protocol, with proper monitoring, of course. And what I discovered completely changed how I view this supplement. Recent studies are revealing that well-planned megadoses may boost cognitive function, mood, focus, and even protect against brain aging. And the best part, it's affordable, safe, and backed by solid science. If you've never heard about this or always thought creatine was just for bodybuilders, don't worry. At the end of this video, I'll share access to an exclusive guide we developed especially for you. But heads up, it's only available for a limited time. So what exactly is this substance that we call creatine? At its core, it is a completely natural compound that your own body produces. Your liver, kidneys, and pancreas create it from amino acids, the building blocks of protein. Once made, about 95% of it is stored in your muscles, with the remaining 5% distributed in your brain, heart, and other tissues. It isn't a foreign substance or an artificial drug, it's an integral part of your body's basic operating system. You also consume it whenever you eat meat or fish, which are the primary dietary sources of this important molecule. Think of creatine's role in the body as being like a rechargeable battery for your cells. Your cells run on a high-energy molecule called adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. When a cell needs to do something, contract a muscle, fire a neuron, repair itself, it breaks down ATP to release a burst of energy. This process leaves behind a lower energy molecule. Creatine, in its stored form as phosphocreatine, steps in to quickly donate its phosphate group, rapidly regenerating ATP. It essentially recharges the battery, allowing your cells to keep working at a high capacity without delay. This rapid energy recycling is crucial for any activity that requires short, intense bursts of power. This energy recycling system is why creatine first became famous among athletes. During a sprint or a heavy lift, your muscles burn through their ATP stores in a matter of seconds. The phosphocreatine system is the first and fastest responder, providing the immediate energy needed to continue that intense effort for a few more crucial seconds. More creatine stored in the muscles means you can regenerate ATP more quickly, allowing you to perform 1 or 2 extra repetitions in a set or sprint a little longer. It translates directly into improved strength, power, and performance in high-intensity activities. But it's vital to remember that muscles are not the only parts of your body that need a constant, reliable supply of energy. Your brain is an incredibly energy-hungry organ, consuming about 20% of your body's total energy despite making up only 2% of its weight. Every thought, every memory, and every decision requires immense amounts of ATP. The heart, which beats continuously for your entire life, is another organ with huge energy demands. By understanding that creatine supports this fundamental process of energy recycling, we can begin to see why its benefits are not confined to the gym, but extend to any system in the body that requires a lot of power. For decades, the bulk of creatine research focused squarely on exercise performance, and the results were consistently impressive. Yet, in recent years, scientists have cast a wider net, investigating how creatine supplementation affects other systems in the body. The findings have been nothing short of remarkable, revealing benefits that touch upon brain health, mood, bone density, and cardiovascular wellness. This emerging science is repositioning creatine from a niche sports supplement to a broad-spectrum health promoter, beneficial for a much wider population, including older adults, vegetarians, and those dealing with high levels of stress. Let's start with the brain. As we've discussed, the brain has enormous energy needs. Studies have shown that supplementing with creatine can increase the levels of phosphocreatine in the brain, enhancing its energy capacity. This appears to translate into tangible cognitive benefits. Research has linked creatine supplementation to improved short-term memory and reasoning skills, especially in situations where the brain is under stress, such as sleep deprivation or performing complex mental tasks. For individuals with diets low in creatine, like vegetarians and vegans, these cognitive improvements can be even more pronounced, helping to bridge a nutritional gap. The influence of creatine doesn't stop at cognition. It also appears to affect our mood. The same energy-providing mechanism that helps neurons fire more efficiently may also play a role in regulating neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that govern our feelings. Some preliminary but exciting studies suggest that creatine, sometimes used alongside traditional treatments, may help alleviate symptoms of depression. The theory is that by improving cellular energy metabolism in the brain, creatine can help restore normal brain function and build resilience against the mental fatigue that often accompanies low mood, making it a promising area for future research. Beyond the brain, creatine shows potential for supporting our physical frame and our heart. Bone cells, like muscle and brain cells, require energy to grow and maintain their structure. Some studies have indicated that creatine supplementation, particularly when combined with resistance training, can help increase bone mineral density, which is crucial for preventing osteoporosis as we age. Similarly, the heart muscle, which works tirelessly, relies on the same ATP system. Research suggests that creatine can improve outcomes in patients with chronic heart failure by enhancing the energy supply to their heart cells, improving strength and endurance in this vital organ. Whenever a supplement becomes popular, it inevitably attracts a cloud of myths and safety concerns, and creatine is no exception. Perhaps the most persistent rumor is that it is bad for your kidneys. This concern stems from a misunderstanding of how the body processes creatine. When creatine is broken down, it produces a waste product called creatinine, which is filtered out of the blood by the kidneys. Taking creatine supplements will naturally increase your blood creatinine levels, which can sometimes be flagged on a standard blood test. However, for a healthy person, this is simply a sign of more creatine being processed, not a sign of kidney damage. Decades of rigorous scientific research have thoroughly investigated this claim. Extensive studies, including long-term trials lasting several years, have consistently found that creatine supplementation does not harm kidney function in healthy individuals. Major health organizations and sports science bodies have all concluded that creatine, when taken at recommended doses, is exceptionally safe. Of course, if someone has a pre-existing kidney condition, it is always wise to consult a doctor before starting any new supplement, including creatine. But for the general population, the fear surrounding creatine and kidney health is simply not supported by the scientific evidence. Another common myth that often surfaces is the claim that creatine causes hair loss. This rumor originated from a single small study conducted on college-aged rugby players in 2009. The study found that creatine supplementation increased levels of a hormone called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT, which is linked to male pattern baldness. However, the study did not actually measure hair loss itself, and the increase in DHT remained well within normal clinical limits. Since then, numerous more direct studies have failed to find any link between creatine supplementation and increased hair loss. The consensus in the scientific community is that this claim is unfounded. The other minor side effect sometimes reported is digestive upset or bloating, but this is typically associated with the old loading phase protocols, which involve taking very large doses, 20 grams or more per day, for the first week. Most people today opt for a steady, lower daily dose of 3 to 5 grams, which minimizes the risk of any stomach discomfort. The most common effect of creatine is a slight increase in body weight, but this is primarily due to water being drawn into the muscle cells, a process known as cell hydration. This is actually a beneficial effect, as well-hydrated cells function better. Overall, creatine stands as one of the safest and most effective nutritional supplements available. So, our bodies naturally produce about 1 to 2 grams of creatine each day, which is enough to handle basic metabolic functions. We also get it from our diet, mainly from animal products. Red meat and certain types of fish like herring and salmon are actually the richest natural sources. For example, a pound of uncooked beef or salmon contains roughly 1 to 2 grams of creatine. If you eat a varied diet that includes meat and fish regularly, chances are you're already consuming a decent amount of creatine through your food alone, which helps contribute to your body's total pool of this vital energy substrate. But, relying only on food to get the higher levels of creatine linked to performance and cognitive benefits is pretty impractical for most people. To reach the standard supplemental dose of 5 grams of creatine per day just from food, you'd need to eat over 2 pounds of beef or nearly 3 pounds of salmon every single day. That's not only extremely expensive and honestly unsustainable, but it would also come with a huge load of calories, fat, and protein that goes way beyond what most people actually need in their diet. So yeah, it becomes clear pretty quickly that for therapeutic or performance-enhancing doses, a supplement is really the only feasible option. This is where creatine monohydrate powder comes in. It's an efficient, inexpensive, and super convenient way to boost your body's creatine stores. It's just creatine in a pure, concentrated form, allowing you to get a precise, effective dose without all the extra calories or the cost of eating a ton of meat. And for some people, supplementation is even more important, like vegetarians and vegans have significantly lower baseline levels of creatine in their muscles and brain because their diets just don't include the main food sources. For them, supplementing with creatine can make a huge difference, bringing their levels up to that of an omnivore or even higher. When it comes to picking a supplement, honestly, the simplest form is usually the best. Over the years, a bunch of different types of creatine have hit the market. Creatine ethyl ester, buffered creatine, creatine hydrochloride, all claiming better absorption or fewer side effects. But hundreds of studies have shown that good old-fashioned creatine monohydrate is still the most effective, most studied, and most affordable form out there. There's just no solid scientific evidence that these more expensive, newer forms offer any real advantage. So sticking with micronized creatine monohydrate is a reliable and cost-effective choice for anyone looking to add this supplement to their routine. Taking creatine is incredibly straightforward, which is honestly another reason for its widespread popularity. There's really no need for complicated timing or specific protocols to reap its benefits. The most important factor here is consistency. Creatine works by saturating your muscles and brain cells over time, so taking it daily is key to building up and maintaining those elevated stores. Whether you take it in the morning, afternoon, or evening doesn't seem to make a significant difference to its overall effectiveness. The best time to take creatine is simply the time that you are most likely to remember to do it each day. Many people like to mix their creatine powder into a drink. Because creatine monohydrate is tasteless and dissolves reasonably well in liquid, it can be easily added to a variety of beverages. You can mix it into a glass of water, a smoothie, a protein shake, or even a cup of warm tea or coffee. Some older advice suggested that you should take creatine with a sugary drink to spike insulin and improve absorption, but more recent research shows this is not necessary. Creatine is absorbed very efficiently on its own, so you can simply mix it with water. The key is just to get it into your system consistently. There used to be a popular method called loading, where you would take a high dose of around 20 grams per day, split into 4 servings, for the first 5 to 7 days. The purpose of loading is to saturate your muscles with creatine as quickly as possible. This method does work, and you will notice the benefits within a week. However, loading is not essential. A more common approach now is to simply start with a lower maintenance dose of 3 to 5 grams per day from the beginning. It will take a little longer to fully saturate your muscles, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, but you'll get to the exact same place in the end, often with less chance of minor digestive issues. Once your creatine stores are saturated, a daily dose of 3 to 5 grams is generally sufficient to keep them topped up. This standard dose is effective for maintaining muscle performance benefits and supporting general health. It's a simple habit to adopt, like taking a daily multivitamin. You don't need to cycle off creatine either. The idea that you need to take breaks from it is another outdated myth. Long-term studies have shown it is safe for continuous daily use. So, find a time that works for you, mix it into your favorite drink, and make it a consistent part of your daily health regimen. The standard recommended dose of creatine, typically cited as 3 to 5 grams per day, is well established for supporting muscle health and athletic performance. This dosage is effective for saturating the muscles of an average-sized person and maintaining those levels for ongoing benefits in strength and power. For the vast majority of people starting with creatine, this is the perfect amount. It is the dose used in most of the research demonstrating creatine's safety and efficacy, and it provides a fantastic foundation for physical performance and general wellness, offering a great return on a very small investment in your health. However, the conversation around creatine dosing is evolving as we learn more about its role beyond the musculature, particularly within the brain. The brain only holds about 5% of the body's total creatine, but crossing the blood-brain barrier is a significant challenge. This barrier is a protective membrane that controls what substances can enter the brain from the bloodstream. Research suggests that the standard 3 to 5 gram dose, while excellent for muscles, may not be enough to meaningfully increase creatine concentrations in the brain. To achieve a significant boost in brain creatine levels, higher doses may be necessary. This is where the concept of megadosing comes in. This term can sound a bit extreme, but in the context of creatine, it often refers to daily doses in the range of 10 to 20 grams. These higher doses are being explored in clinical research for specific therapeutic purposes. For example, higher doses are investigated for their potential to help with neurodegenerative diseases, traumatic brain injuries, and certain mood disorders. The logic is that by providing a much larger amount of creatine in the blood, more of it can be pushed across the blood-brain barrier, leading to greater energy availability for brain cells under stress. Choosing to take a higher dose is a personal decision that should be based on your specific goals. If your primary aim is to support your gym performance and general physical health, the standard 3 to 5 grams is likely all you need. However, if you are particularly interested in the cognitive and neurological benefits, maybe you're a student facing exams, an older adult concerned about cognitive decline, or someone in a high-stress job, you might consider a higher dose. It's about tailoring the supplementation strategy to the desired outcome, moving beyond a one-size-fits-all approach to harnessing the full potential of this remarkable molecule.